Hello there. The Tory backbenches are in rebellious mood. They are defying their own government. Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and then like and comment below. So the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak wants to include the mandatory building of 300,000 new houses every year in his plans. But he's come a cropper, because 50 of his own MPs, including 8 former ministers, publicly threatened to vote against it. So debate on that particular topic has been postponed, with the excuse being given that there is a congested parliamentary timetable. Chickening out, more likely. So if housing is no longer near the top of the agenda, where are we going to put all those extra people that keep turning up? There's been talk for many years about the need to build anywhere between 300,000 and 500,000 new homes every year. And I can't remember any statement from any government that we've met that target. But I can remember many a time that any attempt to build new homes was met with local opposition. So where are all these people going to live? Those backbench MPs now need to turn on their own government and use the same tactics to get Sunak to really address the migration problem, especially of the English Channel variety. But as I've said before, the Sunak-Hunt plan is more migration to boost overall GDP, coupled with that other GDP-boosting activity of building houses. But boosting GDP is not enough. It is GDP per capita that matters more in economic terms, as well as productivity. More people, more houses, and a higher GDP alone do not guarantee happiness and prosperity, unless you are amongst the top 0.1% living in secure, gated communities, of course. I see that 2 Tory MPs, Chloe Smith and William Ragg, have just declared that they are retiring from the Commons at the next general election. Why do that so early? There's still a couple of years to go. Maybe they're preparing the ground for every eventuality. Are they smelling an imminent snap general election forced by this sort of unrest amongst their fellow Tory MPs? Maybe more and more opposition is building up against Jeremy Hunt's growth and productivity wrecking autumn statement. Could it all become totally untenable? How wonderful those smart meters are for the energy providers. They no longer have to chase people down when they don't pay their bills. They just switch them remotely via the smart meter onto pay-as-you-go. That's right, they send an email and convert you onto a prepayment contract. And what's worse, prepayment plans are much more expensive than standard tariffs, even though the company has your money in its account. And this is happening and happening more often. And the energy companies won't be cutting off the gas or electricity. The providers will claim it will be those who can't afford to put money into their accounts who will be cutting themselves off. And Citizens Advice says that an estimated 180,000 households will have been switched to prepayment by the end of this coming winter. The vexed problem of gambling addiction is raising its ugly head again, with reports of a 42% increase of desperate gamblers presenting at A&E. Thankfully, the numbers themselves are not overwhelming, but it does appear to be a growing problem, especially amongst men in their 30s. But worryingly, 1.4% of 16 to 24-year-olds are reportedly at risk of becoming problem gamblers. And with a recession on its way, high inflation and a predicted rise in unemployment, more people might feel forced to turn to Lady Luck for help. Except there is no Lady Luck. That's just a front for hard-hearted business people to make a lot of money. For every winner, the floor is littered with the betting slips of losers. And with problem gamblers, reality always wins in the end. The only winners are those behind the gambling machine, running the likes of those addictive websites that hoover up the cash of the vulnerable. And technology is giving gamblers the ability to bet on just about any aspect of sport, all hoping for the big win that would wipe out that growing pile of debt. And now the NHS might start asking their patients if they engage in gambling, just in case. But one way to stop all this would be a programmable central bank digital currency coupled with social credits. And despite Brexit, Danish Crown, a European pork producer, is set to build a £100 billion gammon plant in the UK. Some might say that gammon's coming home. The new factory will be built in Rochdale, be powered by green energy and will create 300 new jobs. The company's chief executive, Jay Valliere, acknowledged administrative headwinds due to the UK being considered as a third country after Brexit. He also said that he had confidence in the UK's prospects. But my questions are, is it British pork? Where will the profits go? And where will the tax really be paid? And now over to Richard, who wants to talk to you about some people dropping like flies.
Thank you, Jeff, and good morning. A new documentary has come out regarding what's causing people to pass away unexpectedly, which I shall now name. Now, the first word of said documentary is died, and the second word of said documentary is suddenly. And therein you have the title of the documentary, available to view on a video platform that rhymes with the word grumble. Now, of course, I couldn't possibly endorse what is said in that video, and I can't remember why I'm mentioning it in this video because, I most certainly would not be highlighting it for your immediate attention, or pretending that it has any great value that requires, yes, your immediate attention. No. Far from it. Why would anybody want to watch such a documentary? What is said in that documentary cannot be true. Not for one moment. And the people in said documentary that I haven't said must be making it up, mustn't they? If they were speaking the truth, that would mean we have been lied to about a certain medical procedure, and there would be very great legal repercussions for those that pushed said unsaid medical procedure, and those that told us it was perfectly safe. So good job I am not highlighting a video with content that is very important to watch and has any credible professionals in it. Well, I'm glad that's over. So don't watch that documentary under any circumstances, because I am most certainly not trying to bring it to your attention. Back over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Richard. And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.